Hollywood builds empires on a single moment, but it can destroy them just as fast. One slap, one interview, one leaked message. That's all it takes to turn a beloved star into a cautionary tale. These aren't stories of slow decline or fading relevance. These are career detonations, public meltdowns, explosive scandals, and irreversible mistakes captured by millions of eyes. From Oscar stages to courtroom chaos, from magazine covers to total exile, the actors on this list learned the cruelest lesson fame has to offer. Everything can vanish in seconds. What they did next, or couldn't do, would define them forever. If you're ready to see how fast a Hollywood dream can become a nightmare, hit that subscribe button and let's dive into these shocking falls from grace. Will Smith, the slap that shook Hollywood. For decades, Will Smith represented everything Hollywood loved: charm, talent, and an untouchable reputation. From his breakout as the Fresh Prince to blockbuster dominance in Men in Black and Independence Day, he was America's favorite superstar. Every role felt effortless. Every smile felt genuine. He was the actor who could do no wrong. Then came March 27, 2022, the 94th Academy Awards. A night that should have crowned his career instead became the moment it fractured. When comedian Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head, Will laughed until he didn't. Seconds later, he walked onto that stage and slapped Rock across the face in front of millions. The sound echoed around the world. What followed was chaos. Will returned to his seat and shouted words that would be replayed endlessly. He won Best Actor minutes later, tearfully apologizing to everyone except Rock. The Academy asked him to leave. He refused. Within days, he resigned. Within a week, he was banned from Oscar events for 10 years. Projects paused, endorsements vanished. The man who once seemed invincible became late-night punchlines. Since then, Smith has worked quietly to rebuild, releasing Emancipation, teasing Bad Boys sequels, and focusing on family. But that slap? It's a permanent scar on a once flawless legacy. Thomas Gibson, the kick that ended everything. For 12 seasons, Thomas Gibson was the steady heart of Criminal Minds. As Aaron Hotchner, he played the stoic FBI profiler with quiet intensity, leading his team through darkness while protecting his own family. Fans trusted him. The show depended on him. He even directed episodes, proving his value behind the camera. But in August 2016, everything collapsed in one violent moment. During a script disagreement with a writer-producer, Gibson lost control and kicked the man in anger. The incident spread fast. At first, he received a brief suspension. Then came the termination. ABC Studios and CBS cut ties completely. Worse, old stories resurfaced. A 2010 shoving incident, anger management classes, a pattern of volatility the industry could no longer ignore. Criminal Minds wrote Hotchner out quickly, sending him into witness protection, a quiet exit for a loud scandal. Since his firing, Gibson has largely vanished from Hollywood. He's appeared in small films like Shadow Wolves and The Writer's Bible, but nothing close to his former success. He spends time golfing, photographing, and raising his family. When Criminal Minds revivals are discussed, his name never appears. One kick erased 12 years of work. One loss of control ended a career. Megan Fox, the interview that shattered stardom. In 2007, Megan Fox became an instant global phenomenon. Transformers turned her into Hollywood's IT girl, beautiful, bold, and inescapable. Magazine covers, red carpets, multi-million-dollar endorsements. For a brief, dazzling moment, she was everywhere. The world couldn't get enough. Then came 2009. During an interview with Wonderland magazine, Fox was asked about working with director Michael Bay. Instead of offering the standard diplomatic answer, she compared him to Napoleon and Hitler, calling him a nightmare who thrived on chaos. The remarks exploded across Hollywood. Michael Bay was reportedly willing to move on. Steven Spielberg wasn't. Under his direction, Fox was fired from Transformers, Dark of the Moon. Crew members publicly attacked her, calling her ungrateful and difficult. Overnight, her image crumbled. Studios stopped calling. The media branded her a diva. For years, Fox faded, taking smaller roles and raising her 3 sons. But by the late 2010s, she began reclaiming her story. She spoke openly about misogyny and objectification, starring in films like Till Death and navigating a high-profile relationship with Machine Gun Kelly. Today, Fox is no longer the IT girl Hollywood created. She's something more self-assured, a woman rewriting her own narrative on her own terms. Jennifer Grey, the surgery that erased a star. In 1987, Dirty Dancing wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural explosion. Jennifer Grey's portrayal of Baby, with her natural charm and distinctive face, made her an instant icon. She earned a Golden Globe nomination. Hollywood's doors swung wide open. The future looked limitless. Then came the decision that would change everything. Urged by family and industry insiders who claimed her slightly imperfect nose limited her opportunities, Grey underwent plastic surgery. Not once, but twice. The second procedure altered her appearance so drastically that even close friends didn't recognize her. She later called it the nose job from hell. Practically overnight, Grey went from one of Hollywood's most recognizable faces to someone casting directors forgot. Roles vanished. The industry moved on. She became a tabloid cautionary tale about beauty gone wrong. Adding to her pain, she carried deep emotional scars from a devastating car crash in Ireland just before Dirty Dancing premiered that killed 2 people. Though her career slowed dramatically, Grey eventually found peace. She re-emerged in the 2010s with roles in Red Oaks and Grey's Anatomy, and won Dancing with the Stars in 2010. Recently, she's released a memoir and is developing a Dirty Dancing sequel she'll star in and produce. Today, Jennifer Grey is defined not by her nose, but by her resilience. Mike Richards, The Week That Destroyed a Dream. When Alex Trebek passed away in 2020, replacing him on Jeopardy became one of television's most scrutinized decisions. After countless auditions, longtime executive producer Mike Richards was announced as the new host, a choice meant to ensure continuity after Trebek's 37 legendary seasons. For Richards, it was the pinnacle of a career. Then the past came roaring back. Within days, old podcast recordings from the random show resurfaced. They revealed crude jokes about women, offensive comments about coworkers, and language critics called deeply inappropriate for someone representing a family show. Then came reports of lawsuits from his time at The Price is Right, where models accused him of harassment and wrongful termination. Richards issued an apology, calling his remarks a terribly embarrassing misjudgment. It didn't matter. Within 1 week, Sony Pictures Television forced him to step down as host. Shortly after, they removed him from his executive producer role entirely. Since 2021, Richards has largely vanished from public life. He avoids interviews and social media. Industry insiders say he's consulting quietly behind the scenes, but no major comeback has materialized. For a man once entrusted with protecting one of America's most beloved game shows, the lesson was brutal. 1 week of fame undone by years of careless words. Paula Deen, the deposition that ended an empire. For years, Paula Deen was America's queen of comfort food, the butter-loving Southern chef who built an empire on warmth, laughter, and unapologetic indulgence. She had hit shows on the Food Network, best-selling cookbooks, and restaurants across the South. Her charm wasn't just about recipes, it was about making people feel at home. In 2013, that empire imploded. A former employee filed a lawsuit accusing Deen and her brother of fostering a workplace filled with harassment, discrimination, and racism. The allegations were explosive, but what destroyed her was her own testimony. Under oath, Deen admitted to using racial slurs in the past. She described once imagining a plantation-style wedding featuring black men dressed as servants. The backlash was immediate and brutal. The Food Network dropped her. Sponsors vanished. Walmart, Target, and other major retailers pulled her products from shelves. Within weeks, Deen went from beloved chef to national pariah. Since then, she's worked to rebuild. She launched a YouTube channel, opened Paula Deen's family kitchen restaurants, and made occasional TV appearances. She's found a smaller, loyal fan base, but her reputation never fully recovered. Today, she remains polarizing, admired by some for resilience, condemned by others for what her scandal revealed. Cuba Gooding Jr., from Oscar glory to courtroom shame. In 1997, Cuba Gooding Jr. stood on the world's biggest stage, clutching his Academy Award for Jerry Maguire, shouting, "Show me the money," as the audience roared. It was pure Hollywood magic, a breakout moment promising a brilliant career. For years, he delivered, starring in Men of Honor, Radio, and other hits. His charisma was undeniable. Decades later, his name would be associated not with triumph, but with disgrace. In 2019, a woman accused Gooding of groping her at a New York bar. He was arrested and charged with forcible touching and sexual abuse. Soon, dozens of women came forward with similar allegations of unwanted touching and inappropriate behavior. By October, prosecutors had indicted him on multiple counts tied to separate incidents. The once beloved actor now faced headlines of misconduct and betrayal. In 2022, Gooding struck a plea deal, admitting to one count of forcible touching. He avoided jail but was ordered to complete counseling and monitoring. His record would be cleared if he stayed out of trouble, a decision that outraged many accusers who said it minimized their trauma. Since then, Gooding has largely disappeared from Hollywood. He's made a few low-profile appearances in small independent projects, but his reputation remains shattered. Once a symbol of joy on screen, he now serves as a stark reminder of how fast fame fades when conduct overshadows talent. Armie Hammer. The messages that ended everything. Armie Hammer seemed destined for A-list status. After acclaimed roles in The Social Network and Call Me by Your Name, he had the looks, charm, and talent that screamed, leading man. Hollywood was his for the taking. Then, in early 2021, his image imploded in the most shocking way imaginable. Disturbing messages allegedly sent by Hammer surfaced online. They described violent sexual fantasies. Some referenced cannibalism. The public was horrified. Hammer initially called the claims vicious lies, but soon multiple women came forward with their own stories of abuse and manipulation that echoed the leaked messages. Within weeks, Hammer lost every major role. His agency dropped him. Hollywood turned its back overnight. The scandal grew so notorious that Discovery Plus released House of Hammer, a docuseries exposing disturbing details about both his behavior and his family's dark history. By 2022, reports emerged that Hammer was selling timeshares in the Cayman Islands to make a living, a staggering fall from grace. While he's largely stayed out of the spotlight since, his name remains synonymous with one of Hollywood's most infamous downfalls. The messages that destroyed him weren't just career-ending, they were legacy-obliterating. Mel Gibson. The rant that revealed everything. Mel Gibson was once Hollywood royalty. An Oscar-winning director and beloved action star, he commanded respect and box office dominance. Braveheart, Lethal Weapon, The Patriot. His career seemed bulletproof until a 2006 DUI arrest changed everything. During the arrest, Gibson launched into an anti-Semitic rant, blaming Jewish people for all the wars in the world. The tirade was captured in police reports and leaked to the public. Outrage erupted. Apologies followed, but the damage was done. Then came leaked recordings in 2010 of Gibson hurling racist and misogynistic slurs during heated arguments. The tapes were vicious and undeniable. Hollywood distanced itself. Major studios stopped working with him. Awards shows avoided him. For years, Gibson became a pariah, appearing only in low-budget projects while publicly battling his demons. Slowly, he's attempted a comeback. He directed Hacksaw Ridge in 2016, earning critical acclaim and Oscar nominations. He's appeared in films like Daddy's Home 2 and directed the upcoming Passion of the Christ sequel. But the stain remains. Some have forgiven him, many haven't. Gibson's story is one of immense talent overshadowed by ugly truths, a reminder that some words can never be taken back. Charlie Sheen, the meltdown that broke television. Charlie Sheen was the highest-paid actor on television. 2.5 Men made him a household name and earned him nearly $2 million per episode. He was television royalty until his personal demons exploded into public chaos. In 2011, Sheen's erratic behavior spiraled out of control. He launched bizarre media appearances filled with rants about winning, tiger blood, and Adonis DNA. He publicly attacked 2.5 Men creator Chuck Lorre, calling him by his birth name and unleashing vicious insults. The outbursts were shocking and relentless. CBS and Warner Brothers had no choice. They fired him. Sheen sued for $100 million. The show continued without him, casting Ashton Kutcher as his replacement. Sheen's career never recovered. He attempted a comeback with the sitcom Anger Management, but it failed to recapture his former glory. Since then, Sheen's life has been marked by health struggles, including his 2015 revelation that he's HIV positive and ongoing financial troubles. He's made occasional appearances in smaller projects, but nothing close to his peak. The man who once embodied television success became a cautionary tale about fame, addiction, and the catastrophic cost of burning every bridge. These 10 stories share a common thread: the fragility of fame. In Hollywood, where every moment is magnified and every mistake is immortalized, careers can crumble faster than they're built. Some of these actors lost everything because of a single violent outburst. Others destroyed themselves with words spoken in anger or messages sent in darkness. A few made choices they thought would help them, only to watch those decisions erase their identities. What these stories reveal isn't just about scandal or downfall, it's about consequence. Fame doesn't offer second chances easily. The spotlight that elevates can just as quickly expose and destroy. Some of these actors have found paths to redemption, rebuilding quietly, humbly, away from the cameras. Others remain in exile, their names forever tied to their worst moments. The lesson is clear. In an industry built on image, control is everything. One slap, one rant, one moment of lost composure can define a legacy more powerfully than decades of brilliant work. And once the fall begins, stopping it is almost impossible. If these stories moved you, reminded you, or shocked you, share this video. Let someone else see how fast everything can change. And subscribe, because Hollywood never stops creating cautionary tales. We'll be here to tell them.